Hi guys, and welcome back to another exciting Steve's Amateur Garage video. Today we are going to be working on the Ferrari 360 Spider, and unfortunately it's another tale of woe, but these things happen when you're driving a car that's 20 odd years old. To be fair, for the last couple of years it's been relatively maintenance free, nothing really major. Yes, this year we've used it more than we had in previous years because the weather's been nice, and we know we've just repaired the hydraulic block on the side of the gearbox, which is unfortunate, but we know they fail after a certain period of time, so you know, these things happen. And it's in for its MOT in a week's time, so just the previous weekend I thought I'll check it over and just make sure everything's working, lights, horn, the usual. Mentioned on the last MOT was some sort of rubber boot that covers the rear trailing arm, tie rod arm really. So I had a look at both sides of that and they are split. Whether it'd fail an MOT, it probably would, so that was going to be the job I was looking at. But while I was underneath there, one rear shock absorber is clearly weeping, and it never used to do that. It's always been bone dry, so that's, you know, a concern. Should be replaced. And then the other side, well, let me show you what's on the other side. So here we are on the passenger side rear suspension, just to show you the job I was intending to do, which would be the tie rod little rubber boot here. You can see it's split in a couple of places around the side here as well. So my intention was to take this off and replace that boot, but while having a look around underneath here, there's your shock absorber and there's your spring, and I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be broken at the bottom like that. So again, an unfortunate occurrence, but that's probably 20 years old, if not slightly more, and it's given up the ghost and needs replacing. So the question is, can the amateur mechanic replace the rear shock absorbers and the rubber boots on the rear tie rod ends? Well, only time will tell. It's going to be some bolts that won't want to come undone, but in theory we've got the tools that should get them undone, so let's give it a go. Wish me luck. Hi, and here we are underneath the passenger side, left hand side rear wheel arch of the Ferrari. They're the two main bolts that hold the top of the shock absorber. The ones that are sticky and difficult to remove are at the bottom. There's the nut. It's a 19mm nut, if that can focus there. That comes off relatively easy, you've got good access to it. The one that's difficult is on the other side, and that's the bottom of the drop link, connects to the torsion bar. That one comes off fairly easily, and then at the top of the link it goes into a, if you can see that, it's a really long headed bolt that goes right the way through the bottom of the shock absorber, and the drop link is threaded into the end of that, and it's really difficult to get any sort of spanner in there because it's just a bit tight. The angles are bad, there's not a lot of room, but I managed to get a 17mm spanner onto the drop link bolt, which is at the back here, goes into this bit here. Really difficult, soaked it for a couple of nights with penetrating oil, managed to get a good grip on it, gave it a good pull, and finally it gave up the ghost, but it's real tight. And then once you've got this out of the way, you can get better access to this big headed bottom shock absorber bolt. Goes right the way through the bottom. It was really tight, it was seized, probably seized inside the sleeve, but a few good pulls and eventually got the Milwaukee on it and spun it round, and then you'll be able to hammer it through from the other side. Bit of a task, but got there in the end. So there's the drop link, it's screwed into that big headed nut there, and once you've got it loose you can just spin it round and it comes out quite freely. Then you can get a big socket onto here and loosen this off. That's the tight one. And there's that bottom nut halfway out. It's still tight, but you can knock it from the other side and it's slowly making its way out. Here we have the shock absorber on the garage floor, and there you can see the broken spring, which is why we're replacing it. Now that we've got it off, then the reverse process, fitting a new one, should be relatively straightforward. So here we are back onto the original job of replacing the rubber boot on the end of the tie rod. The 3 6mm hexagonal bolts that hold it to the chassis have come free quite easily, and they're half undone at the moment. The big bar bolt that goes right the way through the hub is halfway out. It was tight to start with. It's got a big 10mm hexagonal head, and that's coming out quite steadily now. And once that's off and those 3 are removed, then that tie rod should just lift out the way. Here we go, all the bolts are out, so this should, in theory, just, oh, I can move that slightly, lift straight out. Success. To remove this boot, I have like a little rubber washer just here, little rubber sealing ring. You can just get a screwdriver underneath and just flip it off the top there. So here we are attempting to remove the rubber boot from a track rod end. This happens to be a front one, but I'm going to take the boot off and put it on the back one. Little thin screwdriver, just put it under the lip there, and you should just be able to ease the rubber around and pop it over, turn it over. Same on this side, just feed it under the lip, nice and careful. Don't want to split it, and then lift it up and feed it round. Okay, that's the first step. And all we've got to do is pull this bit right over the big bit, which it's fairly pliable, but again it might be a screwdriver job just to stretch it up and over, and then just feed it, pull it, and here it goes. Job done. Simple process. Reversing it, maybe not. See how we go. Okay, second attempt at putting the ball joint rubber back on. Ball joint's all greased up, nice and loose now. It was pretty seized up before, and all we've got to do is stretch this, get it over there. Should be easy. Okay. Okay, third attempt at trying to get the rubber boot on. Oh, no, not quite. Fourth attempt. Oh, good mother. Try again. Okay, okay, there we go, there we go. You get it over the bottom one first, then pull it round the top and then flip it over. That's got it. Just needs pushing into place. Yes, like that. And the bottom, squeeze it round, nice and easy. Come on baby, yes, good. Now we're on. Now you just put those little rubber rings back in, little sealers, just on the edge there, and job done. Easy. Tie rods all back on, 3 bolts connected up, just nip those up. Large bolt connecting the ball joint needs to be 50 Newton meters. So here we are with the rear shock absorber from the Ferrari in the vise. You can see we've compressed the spring and we have managed to free off the lock ring. There is a special tool which I have purchased to do this job because, as you can see, it's designed to slot beautifully into the slots on the ring like a jigsaw puzzle. And once you've got that in place, you've got really good leverage. And it was also very tight up against there, so I doubt without the tool that you would be able to get that ring loose without damaging it, but it's free now and spinning nicely. The next one, that was sort of fused into place after sitting there for 20 years, but I managed to get it free with a standard C spanner. But there's various sizes of these, and this is a car size one. A motorbike one was just too small, but once you get that into place in its slot, it sits on there nicely. You can get some I had to put a scaffolding bar on the end of this one as well, just to get some extra leverage because it really didn't want to move, but once you've got it free, it frees up and we can spin them both off and then release the pressure on the spring, take it out the way. And here we are, job done. New spring on, shock absorber all back into place and torqued up nicely, and we've got new rubber boots on the rear trailing arm. So nice. Good day here at the garage. Haven't broken anything, haven't injured myself. Hi, and many thanks for watching the video right to the end. We really appreciate it. It was a good job, well within the capabilities of the amateur mechanic, and I hope you found it helpful. If you have, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell because we've got many more exciting videos coming soon, both on the Ferrari, the MG and the camper van. You all take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.